The Bridgestone Canadian Superbike Championship has been home to numerous iconic manufacturers over the years. With a 2024 field full of BMW, Ducati, Kawasaki, Honda, and Suzuki entries, there's no shortage of brands for the plethora of die-hard two-wheel enthusiasts in attendance to support at the top of their lungs over the roar of immaculately crafted 1000cc machines. Hopes are high, times even lower. Let's go racing at the one and only Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. Marshall Ferguson alongside Colin Fraser as we are here at the iconic Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. It is race number 9 of 12 in the Bridgestone Canadian Superbike Championship season. Of course, it is brought to you by Pace Law Fall and Rider Support Team. And in the BS Battery pole position, it was, of course, the season battle going to Ben Young. But how about Sam Garant with his first career GP Bikes Pro Superbike feature class pole position?
Key is to be ready when an opportunity presents itself. Qualifying's broken into 2 sessions. Ben Young didn't make it past the first session, opened a gigantic door, and Samuel Garant came blasting through.
After all the success that Garant had in wet conditions back at Shubenacadie Atlantic Motorsport Park in the last round, he does it once again in qualification here, storming the field, Colin.
2 wins so far this year. There we see the front row of the grid. Dumas second in his first start with the Ducati here at CTMP, and Trevor Daly making another good run in the rain. Notice a theme here to third on the front row of our 3x3 grid. Torrin Collins with a decent effort on his first ride on a Zoke supplied Kawasaki Ninja.
Connor Campbell you see there as well, as alongside Jody Christie. Zoltan Frast having an exceptional season as well. Charles Aubry stepping into the fray, hopping across the pond to be part of all things Bridgestone CSBK as we get set to go racing at the beautiful Canadian Tire Motorsport Park.
Former home of the Canadian Grand Prix for both cars and motorcycles, Mike Halewood and Giacomo Agostini raced here in 1967 to celebrate our centenary. Very demanding track with several blind turns that take total commitment and a long uphill back straight that really isn't straight.
It is an adventure around here as Alex Dumas pulling off to the side. We'll follow up on that in a second, but for now let's go down to our Bridgestone pit reporter Sarah Said with more on the adventures of Ben Young.
Thanks, Marshall. Tears streamed down Samuel Garant's face as he secured his first ever Pro CSBK pole position in round 5 here at CTMP, and it's for good reason as it helps him catch up with Ben Young. Young did crash in Q2 on his outlap, relegating him to 9th on the grid for the weekend, which ended his run of 4 consecutive pole positions. It's an extremely competitive grid, and Garant managed to take pole position even in the damp conditions. This means Garant will take 4 points out of Young to cut his deficit to 36 points, bringing him 1 step closer to the very top. Back to you.
Thank you, Sarah. Alex Dumas last to the grid here, Colin.
Yeah, I think they had to put a little fuel in. They must be worried about the mileage. This is a tough track in terms of the economy of fuel.
Apex Cycles starting lights powered by Honda are out, and we're full throttle at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park as Dumas down the hill side by side with Samuel Garant, and in behind in third, there is Jordan Zoke as Ben Young falls into 5th off the start.
Yeah, Daly had a real struggle there, and it created some blockage, and Ben Young actually benefited coming from row 4. Remember, he had that poor qualifying effort because he fell at the start of Q2, which is the crucial session. Look at that, Young moving under David McKay's Honda, so up to 4th. That's remarkable.
Already taking a spot away as he looks forward to the one-on-one of Jordan Zoke, but right now it's Sam Garant up against Alex Dumas as they head down turn 4, ahead to turn 5A and B for the first time.
And not too far back is TV Thomas Kazaz rejoining the series, and that's Collins on the Zoke Kawasaki, so that should be interesting.
Climb the hill through 5A, and for the first time, it's the Mario Andretti straightaway here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park as we go on board with Ben Young.
BMW slipstreaming Jordan Zoke's Kawasaki, pulling out of the draft early, having a good look at that Ducati of Dumas, and it's already starting to play out in a high-speed drama up the back straight.
Garant takes a bit of a look, can't close up the gap on the Economy Lube and Tire Ducati of Alex Dumas here, so he sits in second for number 2 right now. Our pole position, of course, going to Garant, but he will complete What looks like lap number 1, sitting in second, unless he gets a run down the hill here.
Not a lot of quality dry time so far in our morning warm-up. Young was the fastest, which indicates what his pure pace is. Remember, he scored 3 wins in a row here last time.
As we get a look back at the start and wobbling to the left-hand side, that's Trevor Daly that was in 3rd position on the starting grid as Ben Young trying to climb his way all the way up through the field from a disappointing qualification.
You mentioned recently those red leathers make him a matador, and the matador is definitely waving his cape. Look at that, Daly having a struggle. Jordan Zoke, as usual, does not roll off the throttle, and our reigning number 1 follows our dominant number 1 through and makes up a lot of ground in a very short period of time.
Tommy Cassis getting that front wheel off the ground as well. Held that pretty consistently down the front as now we see Dumas and Garan going into turn number 3. Some different lines here as Dumas holds on.
And I think Dumas would have seen Garan. Garan maybe could have made something work there. I don't know if he rolled out of it on purpose or what occurred there, but he was really actually briefly in the lead.
As they head down the back straight once again, Dumas, Garan, then it's Ben Young, Jordan Zoke, David McKay holding on in 5th right now, and Torrin Collins, the outstanding rookie, joining the Bridgestone CSBK, sits for now in 6th position.
Collins in his 2nd ever career CSBK weekend trying to get by McKay, so another battle amongst our young riders. Good to see Casas up there, and there's a huge gap back to Daly.
Once again, Garan climbing his way onto the back of that Ducati. Doesn't have enough pace right now, but will head down the hill into turn number 1 and up over the top into turn 2.
Coming out of 1 here, and oh, look at Garan having a bobble. I don't know if he's playing with his traction control settings, but that was a little bit dramatic, and you would not want to have an incident there. There you can see at the top of the hill, Young in 3rd, very conservative.
Alex Dumas with some adventures off the start of this race, getting topped up before heading to the grid. More from CTMP when we return. Portions of the Bridgestone Canadian Superbike Championship are brought to you in part by Pace Law Firm's Fallen Rider Support Team, Importations Thibault, and BS Battery. Closed captioning for the Bridgestone Canadian Superbike Championship is brought to you in part by AIM Insurance, MotorcycleCourse.com, EBC Brakes and Clutches, and Lifen. Welcome back to Canadian Tire Motorsport Park as you see Alex Dumas still in the lead on the Economy Lube and Tire Ducati for now, but it's a breakaway pack of 4 riders here as they head down the Andretti Straight once again on lap number 5 of 18, and that draft always so powerful here at Old Motorsport as Sam Garan tucks in, but he's getting dragged forward and backwards. Let's go down to hear about some of the wild cards from our Bridgestone pit reporter, Sarah Said.
Thanks, Marshall. It's a big weekend for wildcards here at CTMP in round 5 of the Bridgestone CSBK Championship, as there are 3 names that could shake things up for the season regulars on the track. First is Torrin Collins, who will make his first appearance since winning in round 3 in his debut in Edmonton. This is the 19-year-old's first time racing at CTMP, but this time he's officially part of Kawasaki with support from Economy Lube and Jordan Zoke. Trevor Daly will also be returning, making his first appearance since capturing a long-awaited victory in round 2. The one-speed Suzuki rider comes into the race as the only wildcard who has prior experience with the layout, having raced extensively at CTMP in his career. Charles Aubry is the true wildcard this round as he joins the championship for the first time. All the way from France, the 22-year-old European Moto2 Championship rider will pilot a Turcotte Performance Kawasaki in his CSBK debut. Back to you guys.
Aubry in 13th right now on that ex-Tremblay Turcotte Kawasaki. He's a pre-Moto Series racer in Europe, and this is his first time on a Superbike and his first time at CTMP.
Well, one of the great things about this track is it makes everyone want to come out and hop on 2 wheels, Colin, because there are plenty of wild cards up and down the grid, not just here in the GP Bikes Pro Superbike feature class.
Yeah, a lot of surprises here and a lot of people gambling on trying new bikes and frequently bumping up to larger displacement bikes from the middleweight division.
As we see Alex Dumas completing lap number 6 of 18, winding his way through the final couple of corners. He's got 2 BMWs all over his backside all of a sudden.
Yeah, and both of those BMWs have won already this year. So out of this group of riders we're watching, we have the most dominant rider in the history of Canadian Superbike racing at the back, Jordan Zoke, and Dumas, who has been a champion, but so far has not won this year. This is his 3rd weekend unretired onto that Econolube Ducati V4.
What a shot there coming over the top of turn number 2, dropping down. You want to say it's a hill. It's a mountain dropping down through turn 2 right there.
Impressive watching Dumas there. Full commitment using all of the track, and there's definitely a little lap time there, but if you watch coming to turn 4, he's a little more careful on the entry there. Turn 4, another one of those blind plunges that takes a lot of confidence. Here we are into 4.
As we've seen so many times this year, Jordan Zoke trying to hold on to the back of a breakaway front 3 as he's doing everything he can to keep them within range. As you see some different lines through 5B right there, and Garand with a good run out of the corner.
Yeah, and the key, of course, is to get 5B and C where they're going through right now perfect, so you can get into the slipstream, get your arms, your elbows, your head down, and try and make the most of it. And so much of this depends on gearing. We talk so much about top speed, but you're climbing a steep hill, and the gearing makes a big difference.
As Garand wobbling his way down the Andretti straight there and trying to carry that speed into the end of lap number 7. Ben Young eyeing him up. Looks like he's sitting back right now, just keeping everything manageable and under control with the number 1 plate at stake here, looking for his 4th Canada Cup.
Garand using all the road, exiting turn 10 onto the front straight, then down the hill into turn 1 where you have to cross this long patch that has everybody's attention. Now to get to the top blind entry, the double apex turn 2, more patches, bumpy on the inside. There you can see Young taking that fairly tight line, which is a little bit ripply.
And really working the throttle as well. You can see them grabbing for it, heading into turn number 3 through here. Up a little bit of a hill as well as Dumas. Different line than Garand, but keeping right on the back wheel of that Ducati is Garand.
Ben Young's most recent race was in Suzuka, Japan, where he did a very good job on a semi-works BMW team, 13th overall in the World Championship 8-hour, and he is used to some heavy traffic, and he's got some in front of him, but this time he has to get by.
More from CTMP when we return. Welcome back to Canadian Tire Motorsport Park on lap number 9 of 18. That is Alex Dumas in the lead, Sam Garand sitting in 2nd spot, and Ben Young as they'll climb up the hill here. And Garand trying to hold off Young, who dives down the inside of 5B. Can he make the move stick as they head down the Andretti straight?
On board with Sam Garand, who just gave up 2nd place. We should be seeing Ben Young any second as Garand works the slipstream up the back straight. There's Ben Young on our right on the championship leading BMW, and Garand, whose bike might not be quite as fast, seems to have the gearing and the slipstreaming ability to run past Young, but he didn't make it happen, and he's really wide in turn 8 now.
Yeah, very, very difficult to try and hold the line through there with that much speed, but wheel to wheel the BMWs go, the 1 and the 2 side by side, but Young comes out on top.
Yeah, and that's the kind of pass that Young needed to make. We're past halfway so the race could be official, and now we're heading into some traffic. I think that's Chris Fair and I think Canfield on the Suzuki just in front, and there you can see that one of our leaders is already by as Young tries the outside. At the top of 2, no, he drifted back inside, being a little bit careful, and Garand's right on top of Young.
Yep, and Alex Dumas eating this up as Garand, a little bit of a wobble there and runs wide at the bottom of 2.
Yeah, using all the pavement and a little bit more, but we've cleared that group of lappers, and now we're setting sail back after Dumas, who got just a tiny bit of breathing space. Let's go on board and see that move, and this is Ben Young at his best, right? The door is open, taking a little bit of advantage of the situation there, but no drama at all, no risk. But right here, I honestly thought Garand was going to go steaming by, and he seems to have the edge you pick up in that soft air of the slipstream. He gets on the outside of Young, and I wonder if maybe he just wasn't comfortable being that aggressive with his BMW teammate.
What a great shot, though, side-by-side, Colin, of those 2 BMWs getting after it as they burn up more Gulf race fuel here heading down the Andretti straight.
Dumas with just a bit of a lead, maybe a second here. Now we're going to see what Ben Young's pace is like. He doesn't have anyone between him and Dumas. And remember, these 2 are battling for the lead, and that is normal. They have been in that situation for most of the last 3 seasons. Dumas retired from the series, parked his Suzukis at the end of last season when he almost won the title, then rejoined to ride the Ducati that was vacated by Trevor Dion, who's taking a sabbatical.
Pardon the pun, but he's taken to that Ducati like a duck to water, has he not? I mean, he has jumped into the pond full bore here on this thing, and he is absolutely flying.
The waterfall analogies just keep piling up here at CSBK. But you could say that Alex Dumas is comfortable with his Ducati Panigale V4.
He is taking control of this race as well after topping up on his way to the grid at the beginning of this race as Young taking a different line here over the top of 4 and down into 5, where he made the pass on Garand, who all of a sudden is falling back a bit from the 1 plate.
Yeah, trying to get your rhythm back when you've been following the leader can be a challenge. Remember, last year, Garand and Dumas battled for 2nd place throughout most of the race, and Ben Young was way up ahead. Now let's look at those dyno numbers. You can see Dumas' Ducati is strong. That's one of the highest numbers we've ever seen, over 200. And 200 is kind of the magic number. You don't want to tune too close to the limit because you do not want to be caught out after the race.
Absolutely. Is Dumas sliding his way into the end of this lap, as Dumas extremely consistent lap times, holding it down. It really does seem like he's just kind of put his head down and determined that this is his race and he's going to run it his way.
122 flat for Dumas. He qualified at a high 122 or higher 122, so he's below his qualifying pace, but of course, his warm-up pace, but of course the track conditions have improved and rain was a big issue for the first couple of days.
We'll see if Ben Young decides to build some pace here on lap number 12 and give Alex Dumas a run for his money. More from CTMP when we return with the number 1 plate, trying to track down Alex Dumas. Portions of the Bridgestone Canadian Superbike Championship are brought to you in part by Pace Law Firm's Fallen Riders Support Team, Importations Thibault, and BS Battery. Welcome back to round number 5 of the Bridgestone CSBK season. Alex Dumas out in front here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. Ben Young, Sam Grant, Jordan Soak is in 4th, and there is Torrin Collins in 5th position for now, but Tommy Cassis has a run down the hill as Collins sees Cassis sail by him on the Yamaha here into 5th position.
That is not a typical pass. Normally it's up the inside into 3. Cassis knows those passes really well. That was a great move on Collins.
Collins continues his journey here in the CSBK 2024. Let's hear from Torrin on how he got to CTMP.
I think I impressed a couple people at Edmonton. Some people started looking at me and realized I got the talent, and I'm getting a bit of recognition that I've been looking for a couple of years now. And yeah, they called me up and they were like, what does it take to get you racing at Motorsport? And so yeah, Jacob Black and like Canadian Kawasaki, as well as Steve Moxie from Economy Lube, they put something together with Jordan Zoke as well. And yeah, they got me on 2 fancy Kawasaki's, quite a bit more power, about 10-15 more horsepower than the one I used in Edmonton. And yeah, I'm really excited to be here, and I'm really grateful.
Full marks to Torrin. He has a green bike with bright green leather, so an effort has been made, and we recognize that he is riding this Kawasaki very well. And we're back to that battle in the lead, and you can say that Dumas, if you had said you're going to lead the whole race with Ben Young on your tail, he would have signed up for that for sure.
Yeah, he has to be excited by the form of this Ducati and being able to hold off Young, because so much pain last year for Dumas as he was trying to hold on to the championship. Young storming back, Sam Grant getting in the middle of things as well, being able to knock Alex back to 3rd in back-to-back races here at CTMP, and that basically resulted in Young charging his way towards his 3rd Canada Cup. But for now, Dumas trying to make the most of this opportunity.
And I don't know if you caught that, Ben Young with just about a perfect exit to 5B, a bit of a wheelie on the weight transfer. That's what you want, all the weight on the back, so maximum traction. So I think Ben may be making some adjustments to the TC, changing the maps he's using to try and get the most out of the BMW in the slipstream of the Ducati. But really at the top of the hill, it doesn't look like he has much for Dumas.
Van Dolder's home team BMW trying to latch onto the back of that Ducati is, of course, we see starting lap number 17 of 18 coming up behind Brian Wursdal here on the 97, and Dumas will work his way, a little bit of a tighter lineup over the top of 2, and Young will have to deal with him at the crest of the hill.
And got to mention that Brian's first time here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, he was at Shubenacadie 3 weeks ago. Edmonton is his home venue, so he's making his first stab at traveling on the national tour. So this is a really good start, and picking up lots of experience and following the leaders through turn 3 is going to help too.
Great learning opportunity for Brian Wursdal, and great to see him being here as much as possible in the 2024 Bridgestone CSBK season. Let's go down to our pit reporter, Sarah Said.
I'm with Scott Miller, crew chief of the Economy Lube Ducati. Scott, can you tell us a little bit about how Alex is doing today in the race?
Oh, he's just riding the wheels off that thing. And we've been working really hard trying to get a setup that Alex is comfortable with. And we were super happy with the bike this morning and yesterday. And so I'm so happy to see him up front, close to the end of the race.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Just over a lap to go, and Dumas is looking for his first success of this season after doing very well early last season on the Suzuki. And while we mentioned manufacturers, wouldn't it be something if Ducati were to score a win?
As we go down the running order here with Young trying to track down Dumas. It's still Garan in third, but out of the camera shot right now, Jordan Zoke in fourth. Great to see Tommy Cassis on the bike in fifth position. Torrin Collins learning his way around Canadian Tire Motorsport Park for the first time is in sixth. How about David McKay in seventh, Eli DeCash in eighth, and Trevor Daly, who qualified up in third, is in ninth right now as we begin the final lap. The white flag is out, and Ben Young will have only a couple more opportunities and windows here if he wants to grab the victory away from Dumas.
And Dumas has definitely picked up the pace on the penultimate lap. Young took 2/10 out and got right onto his tail in turn 10, but Dumas has responded immediately. The key part is right now, can he get far enough ahead that Young can't do anything in the draft? And as always happens at CTMP, there is traffic up ahead.
Absolutely, and also a tighter line from Dumas through four as they'll climb their way up through five. This is where Young made the move on Garan. They do squeeze together with the back marker, and now they head up the Andretti straight for the final time.
Very, very close in the slipstream. Young is going to try everything. If he's got some over rev, this is when he's going to use it, but I think he's just a little too far back. We just haven't seen him able to make anything happen at the top of sixth gear, at the start of sixth gear at the top of the hill.
Now they'll slam on the anchors and try to carry as much speed as possible, as cleanly as possible, through the final few corners. Alex Dumas exiting as Young all over his back once again. Young putting everything he can into this final corner. They head towards the checkered flag, and it is Alex Dumas holding off Ben Young by 0.07 of a second, the fifth closest finish in CSBK history.
That was very, very close. Great late race effort by Young, but you can see Dumas pulling over there. We've seen this before. Concerns probably about fuel mileage. He doesn't want to do the cool-off lap so he can make sure he has fuel to run on the dyno post-race. There you can see Dumas starting to sink in. Hey, I won that thing.
He is just jubilant, but sitting at the bottom of the hill on that Ducati.
Here we have the running order. Garan in third, Zoke with a good fourth, Cassis and Collins putting on an entertaining battle, David McKay in seventh, and Takash, the Shannonville star, is in the points, and a good run in his first start of the season with that Yamaha.
Let's go down to our Bridgestone pit reporter, Sarah Said, who's with our winner, Alex Dumas.
Congratulations, Alex, on your first win of the season. It was a really close one. How do you feel?
I feel awesome. I led from the first lap till the end. I felt really good. I had a really good bike under me, so that helps a lot. Compared to the last couple of years, I was a bit underpowered, and now we're pretty close to the horsepower limit, so it's a lot closer with the other guys, so it's a lot of fun. For sure, I would have liked to battle a bit, but at the same time, I kind of feel good to just be first. So yeah, it was awesome, my first win of the year. Hopefully tomorrow we can do it again.
Hopes are high for the Dumas camp, the fifth different winner in 9 races this season.
Not a bad effort at all, and great to see Ducati win for the first time since CTMP, which was then Motorsport International 30 years ago.
It has been a very long time as we get a look at the Constructors' Championship. BMW out in front and close to finishing off the deal as Ducati jumps into third spot over the top of Honda. 10,597 days since a Desmo rider has stood on the top step here in the Bridgestone CSBK. Today, it's Alex Dumas.